From the moment we met during freshman orientation, I knew Jake was going to be someone who stayed in my life. He crashed into the room 20 minutes late, hair windblown, hoodie soaked from the rain, laughing like he hadn't a care in the world. Meanwhile, I was already 3 pages deep into the welcome packet, highlighting important dates. He sat beside me without asking, offered me half a granola bar, and said, "You look like you could use a break." And that was that. The beginning of us. We became inseparable, the classic best friends everyone assumes are secretly in love. Only I was. He wasn't. Or at least, not with me. We studied together, went to midnight movie premieres, spent holidays at each other's houses when home felt too far. I was the first person he called when he failed his first calculus test, and he was the only one who knew my mother had left when I was 12. We weren't just best friends, we were each other's constants. I realized I loved him the night he got food poisoning, and I stayed up all night in the dorm bathroom, holding his hair back, pressing cool towels to his forehead. He looked at me, pale and miserable, and said, "You're going to make some lucky guy really happy, sophomore." I wanted to scream, "That lucky guy could be you." But I smiled and said, "He better know how lucky he is." Then came Elise. She transferred in junior year, with a camera always slung over her shoulder and that wild, storm in her eyes beauty that poets die trying to describe. Jake was thunderstruck from the first moment. I could see it in how he stood straighter when she walked into the room, how his voice changed around her, softer, uncertain. "Do you think she'd go for someone like me?" he asked me one day as we sat on the quad, the sun sinking behind the library. My chest ached. "Why not? You're smart, funny, loyal. She's blind if she can't see that." So I coached him. Helped him pick outfits, draft texts that felt flirty but not desperate, laughed at his stupid jokes just to keep him confident. Every time I helped him, it felt like pulling pieces of my heart out, handing them to him, and watching him give them to someone else. He asked her out. She said no. He was devastated. "I thought we had a connection," he said, curled up on my couch, a blanket pulled over his head like a shield. "She's an idiot," I whispered, brushing his hair back from his face. For weeks, he moped, lost in what-ifs and almosts. I stayed by his side, like always. I never once said, "You could have had me." Because I loved him enough to let him grieve what he thought he lost. And then came the crash. It was supposed to be a quick trip to grab ice cream, something light to cheer him up. The roads were slick with a sudden burst of winter rain. A car ran a red light. I remember Jake shouting my name. Glass shattered. Pain bloomed. And then, darkness. I woke up to the rhythmic beep of machines and the sterile scent of antiseptic. My wrist was in a cast. My head throbbed. And there he was, asleep in the chair beside me, his fingers wrapped around mine like a lifeline. "Jake," I croaked. He jolted awake. "Sophie." "Oh God, you're okay." Tears slipped down his cheeks. I'd never seen him cry before. "I thought I lost you," he said. "You didn't," I murmured. And then something shifted. He looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. Not as the dependable best friend or the emergency contact or the girl who always had Advil in her purse. But as someone he could lose. Someone who mattered. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" he asked quietly. I didn't pretend not to understand. "Because I didn't want to lose you. Sophie." "It's okay. I know you don't feel that way." "I didn't," he said. "But I do now. Or maybe I always did, and I was too blind to see it." My heart stopped. "Jake. You were the one who stayed. The one who knew me at my worst and never left. I was chasing some fairy tale when my real story was right here. With you." It wasn't a dramatic kiss or a sudden explosion of passion. It was him laying his head beside mine, our foreheads touching, breath mingling. "Let's not be almost anymore," he whispered. And finally, after years of waiting, I didn't have to pretend. Special shout out to Christine. If any of you have any suggestions for any stories, please let me know. Thank you.